All right, good early afternoon, everyone. It's 12:05, so it's just about time to start this webinar. Thank you for choosing to spend time with us this afternoon, your lunchtime, in fact, for the most of you, and get to know a little bit more about the government grants in Canada and get some information about the updates. You know what's new, what's coming up. My name is Igor Chigrin. I'm a business funding expert with Fair Grant Writing. And today I will give you an update on some of the updates about government funding programs that are available for your business. You can ask any questions in the chat box or through Q&A functionality that are located at the bottom of your screen, just over your mouse. And now you should also see my screen with the presentation, and you should hear my voice. So if you do hear my voice, can anybody please type in the chat that I'm online? Just wanted to make sure that I'm not talking to myself. Amazing. Somebody can hear me? Perfect. Excellent. So we have yeah, excellent. Thank you so much. So now we can get started because everybody can hear me. And yeah, please keep your questions either to the end or type them in, and I'll answer them at the end of the webinar. By the way, my name tag says that I'm calling Nita. I'm Igor Chigrin, actually, just calling usually runs this webinars, sets up this webinars. He couldn't join today. And I couldn't figure out how to change the name. So anyway, you can call me whatever you want, as long as you are very attentive to the subject. Okay, so let's go on. So we'll talk a little bit about fair grant writing, you know, what we do and how we fit the landscape of the government funding. Then I'll quickly walk you through different types of government funding programs, and then we'll dive deep into the budget highlights and those highlights of the new programs or changed programs that are available today on both levels of government, here in Ontario and on the federal level. And then we'll conclude our agenda with questions and answers. Quickly about fair grant writing, we are on a mission to help Canadian independent and family-owned businesses survive and thrive by unlocking their access to government funding. We provide a strategic approach to the business funding, coupled with a deep expertise in business and technical writing. We've been in business since 2013 and are proud to say that we brought billions of dollars in government funding to our clients over that period. But enough talking about us. Something you need to know, there are a few types of government funding, not just grants. The grants are those non-repayable, quote unquote, free money that everybody likes and wants to get. However, these grants are not available for your business just because your business exists. You always need to have a certain project that should qualify under the rules and terms of a specific program, and only after that, if selected, you can get the grant. Now, the government loans are repayable, usually interest-free funding options, interest-free loans that are usually available for large-scale expansion projects and also for certain research and development projects. Again, not available just because, but just for those specific purposes. Tax credits are the retroactive is a retroactive form of government funding. That means you don't have to apply for the funding before your project starts. In fact, you can apply for the tax credit when your project is completed, or in most common cases when your fiscal year ends, which is a little bit more convenient, as opposed to sometimes waiting a few months for the government to respond before you can start your project. There are also temporary COVID incentives. We will see in the next 6 months the end of those incentives, actually most of those incentives. Most of them are scheduled to go away by the end of the government fiscal year, which is March 31st of 2022. So if you qualify for this COVID subsidies or COVID incentives, it's your last chance. A couple of success stories of our clients. We helped an aerospace client to get $3 million in federal interest-free loan to expand their aerospace business in Bonn, Ontario, and then over 300,000 in government grants, non-repayable grants for our metal fabrication plant in Kitchener, Ontario. The funding was used, in fact, to expand the plant and buy advanced equipment. There's this story that I always like to share during our webinars. Unfortunately, not our client, but this particular company in Winnipeg secured close to $100 million in a combination of government grants, government loans, and the loans from the Crown corporations. So the reason I like showcasing this success story is because there's literally no limit to the maximum amount of the government funding you can get, as long as you have a right and legitimate project. So this particular company expanded a lot, and that's why they got so much. But then again, if you're in this position, most likely you can get close or even more. So going specifically to the subject of the purposes of the government funding, as I said, your business doesn't get the government funding just because it exists. You only get the government funding in case you have projects in one of those areas. And typically those areas are equipment purchasing, skills training, hiring, export business development, software, or broadly technology implementation, research and development, and business expansion. Now keep in mind that the government doesn't provide operational funding to cover your material, labor, utility expenses. You are expected to get either commercial financing or self-fund your operations. Now, let's talk about specific highlights, and we'll start with the provincial funding highlights. Specifically, we'll be talking about the government funding in the province of Ontario. If you happen to be from the other province attending this webinar, just hang on. We will talk about federal funding updates very shortly. And those federal funding updates are about those grants and loans that apply throughout Canada. So going back to the Ontario, Ontario has a regional development funding program. It's a big program that pretty much consists of 3 different streams for Northern, Eastern, and Southwestern Ontario. Now, first of all, I wanted to admit that none of these programs is available for the businesses located in the Greater Toronto area and also Greater Ottawa area. However, if your business is outside those large metropolitan areas, you may qualify for this fund, one of these funds, and typically the funding is provided towards purchasing equipment, purchasing software, doing leasehold improvements. Certain construction expenses are also eligible, and the government provides up to $600,000 in grants and up to $1.5 million in government loans. If your business, again, either outside the Greater Toronto area, or if you are located there but you wanted to expand outside the GTA, then you may also qualify and get this funding to, let's say, build your facility, let's say in Simcoe region, or near Kitchener-Waterloo area. So pretty much again anywhere outside of the greater metropolitan areas. The other updates that I wanted to share with you, it may not apply to all of you, but if you are in the automotive industry, the good news for you is that the Ontario Automotive Modularization Program will start the next intake on November 15th. So there's a couple of weeks to prepare. The program pays for expenses such as implementation and adoption of the software and hardware. A typical client would want to apply for acquisition and implementation of an expensive ERP system. However, the program doesn't specifically restricted to buying an ERP system. It could be any software and any hardware, pretty much any technology that will help your automotive parts manufacturing business to improve productivity and increase competitiveness and increase sales. What also this program pays for is for implementing lean manufacturing techniques. That means hiring a trainer or lean consultant to basically go through your operation and make recommendations how to improve your process, and also train your employees in lean techniques. The government provides a grant of 50% of the above expenses, up to a maximum of 150,000. The next provincial grant I wanted to highlight is Canada Job Grant. I put lack of funding in brackets here because, see, this program is not offered by a single government agency. In fact, it is offered by a bunch of not-for-profit organizations that money from the government to run this program, and also some components of this program also run by directly by the provincial government. So we are hearing the news that this program, some of those funding organizations are out of funding, but some of them should still have the funding available. Anyway, I wanted to highlight this program because it's a really good one. And in this case, this program provides money for skills training of your employees, between 50 to 83% of the third-party training costs. And the good thing about this program is that the government doesn't dictate what kind of training you should take, who should take the training. It's your choice as an employer. There are certain limitations for health and safety training, for example, some limitations about the software training, and also the owners of the company don't qualify as eligible trainees, but any other situation, any other training subject is completely eligible. And over the years we've done so many different applications, from helping our clients to train to provide basic computer skills training to their employees, all the way to running running complex machinery, training in soft skills, training in marketing, lean, sales, and everything in between. So again, good program if you have good people, but they're missing certain skills. The government can chip in and help you to pay for the skills training. Now let's go to the federal level, and again, to remind you, all the federal grants and loans, they work across Canada. So first of all, I wanted to highlight a couple of changes of the emergency measures, emergency COVID measures. The Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy that was instrumental in helping so many Canadian companies survive through the COVID is coming to an end. And there will be just one more intake for this Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, and then it will be officially closed. Hopefully they will have some kind of celebration, because no, I mean, I'm not joking. It was really helpful for many of our clients, and it still helps to some of them that still experience troubles. Now, when that program comes to an end, it wouldn't be the end of the world, especially for those who still experience troubles, because the federal government came up with a different program called Canada Recovery Hiring Program. Essentially, it's the same idea as the wage subsidy, because CRHP program would be also a wage subsidy. However, there are a few differences. And first of all, to qualify for the Canada Recovery Hiring Program, your business will have to show at least 10% revenue drop in order to qualify. And then the way they calculate the revenue drop, they they calculated based on your monthly sales in 2021 compared to your monthly sales in 2019, or compared to the average of January, February 2020. There will be also fixed subsidy rates for each period of CRHP. In case of the emergency wage subsidy, the subsidy rate depended on how bad your revenue drop was in the given period, and the worse, the worse your situation was, the more subsidy rate you have received, which makes sense. But now there wouldn't be that flexibility in the Canada Recovery Hiring Program. There will be a fixed subsidy rate for each period. And that rate, by the way, will slowly go down every single period. There will be less and less money that you will receive, even if you continue to experience the revenue drop. The other update that I have for you is something that's been anticipated for quite a long time, Canada Digital Adoption Program. It was first announced in the 2021 federal budget, and the purpose of this program is to help Canadian businesses to adopt digital technologies. And under digital technologies, the government doesn't really have a list of technologies that are allowed. So basically, it's all kinds of software, artificial intelligence applications, enterprise level applications, pretty much any technology and software that can help your business to become more productive, more lean, more agile, if you will, and also improves the processes within your business. So there are a few streams of this program. First of all, for so-called Main Street type of businesses that are typically small retail, restaurants, small fitness facilities, the government will provide up to $2,400 in grants to either develop the websites for those, to help those Main Street businesses develop websites or their e-commerce portals. And then there will be a stream for manufacturing, food processing industries. But also, I wanted to highlight that because this program is still in the final works, we expect that the eligibility will be broadened, and not only manufacturing, food processing companies will qualify, but also like all kind of small to medium-sized companies would. And then the program, that stream will have two substreams. First of all, it will have a grant for technology assessment and selection. This is necessary in case if you feel like your business is missing out on the technologies, but you don't quite know what exactly is missing, and you don't know exactly what specific solution, what specific piece of software will be helpful for your business. In this case, you will be able to apply for the grant that pays 90% of the assessment costs, up to a maximum of $15,000. And by the way, the government will have a short list of consultants who are qualified to complete those assessments. In case if you don't have your own, like your favorite one, you will always be able to work with one of those pre-approved consultants. And then at the end of the assessment, you will receive a report in writing that will tell you exactly what technology, in what configuration you need to implement and how. Like there will be some kind of implementation and training plan as well. When that happens, you will be able to apply for the interest-free loan of up to a maximum of $100,000. We don't know yet what will be the repayment term of this loan, but for sure what we know that it will be interest-free. So stay tuned. We will probably launch a separate webinar as soon as this program is officially launched, because this is something that a lot of our clients were anticipating for the past few years. Another new program is for aerospace sector. the government provides dedicated interest-free funding to more aerospace manufacturers and also MRO companies. They will pay 50 to 75% depending on your location in Canada for typical for things like purchasing equipment, purchasing technology, purchasing software, in order to help your aerospace business to become more productive, more green, and more innovative. So any expenses, again, within equipment, within leasehold improvement, within technology area, those expenses will qualify. Now, what do you do if you are not in the aerospace sector? Don't give up, because there's a similar program, literally a twin of this program, that is called the Jobs and Growth Fund. I'm not quite sure why the federal government allocated separate funding for aerospace, because again, it's exactly the same program. Well, good for the aerospace sector, but then again, if you're not in an aerospace sector, but you still wanted to improve productivity of your business, make it more green and make it more innovative, you can apply for the Jobs and Growth Fund instead. A couple of programs for research and development that are again on the federal level. Nothing changed in case of the Natural Research Assistance Program since the past 20 years or so. This program was around for a while, and this is the grant that can help technology companies, manufacturers, agri-food companies to develop new product, new material, and new technology. This grant provides 80% of the labor cost and 50% of subcontractors' cost. The typical maximum amount of this grant is 50,000, but we've seen the cases where the government pulled much more. So if you are in a position to develop a new product, technology, or material, let us know. We can always connect you with the IRA program first. And then it will be much more clear at the end of that introduction what kind of money you can qualify for. Another research and development funding opportunity is SR&ED tax credit, or commonly known as SHRED. This is basically an opposite IRAP, and the way it works is retroactively. You apply for this tax credit at the end of your fiscal year, and you claim all of your research and development projects that you've completed in the past in the previous fiscal year. And then if the government accepts your claim, you get 60% of labor cost back, and 40% of material cost back, and 30% of the contractor's cost, up to maximum of 3 million. This is probably a very well-known program. If you've been in business for at least 2-3 years, you probably are aware of this, but don't underestimate the opportunity. The program is complex to apply for, no jokes about it, but it's also very beneficial, and the process is very structured. And the beauty of this program is that there's pretty much no limitation for the amount of funding in this program, right? In many grants, there's X dollars that is allocated to this program, and then when the money ends, the program ends. SR&ED tax credit is pretty much never-ending program to help you develop new products, materials, solutions, and also improve them. And also many software technology applications can qualify for this tax credit. Another program I wanted to share with you is Can Export. This program helps Canadian businesses market themselves outside Canada in the new export markets. Once again, it's very important to remember that this program is designed to help you with your new export markets. If, let's say, 60% of your sales come from the United States, then you cannot use this program to market yourself in the States, but you can pick another market that is relevant for you. And all you need to do is to justify that this market is right. And then if that's the case, if the government likes your export marketing project, they can contribute 75% of eligible expenses up to a maximum of 75,000. This program is can't say on hold. It was on hold. Then they launched it again, like literally 2 weeks ago, for the very short intake that ends tomorrow. But this is an indication that they don't have a lot of money left for this fiscal year. So we don't recommend you to give up everything and rush with your application within the next 2 days. Rather than that, we recommend you to wait for the next fiscal year. The next fiscal year starts in April 2022. And that means that the next intake for this program will most likely start in January, February, or maybe March, just before the next government fiscal year. So stay tuned. The government, this government grant pays for, export marketing expenses. Trade shows and trade missions and travel currently are not eligible, but hopefully by the next fiscal year, the travel advisor will be lifted. So, but at the same time, it covers online advertising expenses, which made this program extremely popular because it pays for your Google advertising in the export market. It pays for your, LinkedIn advertising, Instagram, Facebook, whatever your clients are. This program pays 75% of your advertising expenses. It's pretty nice. Quickly about hiring grants, there are many of them, but one thing I wanted you to remember is that your candidate for the job must be under 30 years old and ideally experienced. This way you can get some of the money for internship that you create at your business. Then it all depends on what kind of job that student or graduate will be doing, because some of the programs have industry focus, if you will. But anyway, I just want you to remember that for somebody under 30 years old is probably available, and you can get a little bit of money to accommodate the internship or the first few months of a career of that young professional. The other important area of the funding is the funding for large-scale expansion. Typically, the technology in manufacturing companies that literally physically expand qualify for one of those programs, but not just those. There could be, for example, food and beverage facility. There could be, some fishery. Some of the fisheries qualify under some of these programs. But anyway, for the large-scale expansion, there's a funding opportunity. Depending on where you are located and where exactly you are expanding in Canada, there are different regional development agencies across Canada that are responsible for developing the businesses, developing the companies in their region. The government recently launched, set up the new regional development agency for British Columbia. It used to be one agency that covered the entire western, or 4 western provinces. There are also opportunities to apply for supercluster funding if you do large-scale technology development or implementation in the areas, in a few different areas, because each supercluster has a different focus. There's a manufacturing supercluster, there is artificial intelligence supercluster, ocean technology supercluster, and so forth. The key in applying for supercluster funding is to make sure that you have at least 2 partners, private sector partners, in developing your technology or product or process, and then this will help you to qualify. Also, forest sector has a separate program, and if you are dealing with either forestry or processing forest products, so let's say paper manufacturing, wood products manufacturing, then you may qualify for this forest industry transformation program as well. Couple of words about the Canada Small Business Financing Program. This is not a traditional government loan, not a typical one that you could expect. It is, in fact, a loan that has an interest. However, 85% of this loan is guaranteed by the government. So it's provided by all major Canadian banks and credit unions, but again, 85% of the amount of this loan is guaranteed by the government, which makes it very attractive. In case, especially in the environment like we're living today, right? We don't know if there will be a next lockdown. So having 85% the guarantee on the loan is, I think, a good idea. Now, here's the question. What about equipment funding? There's currently no equipment funding. The last update that I received from the Canadian manufacturers and exporters was in April. Since then, the organization kept lobbying this opportunity with the government, but unfortunately, right now I cannot give you any good news about that. But you never know. The government funding landscape is moving. Is always changing. It is always changing, and if there's no grant for purchasing equipment today, then tomorrow there may be a surprise announcement and the funding may be available. Anyway, if you are interested in diving deep into the subject of the government grants and government funding in general, I can recommend you my book called Get Funded. In that book, you will not find a list of grants because it's always changing, as I said. But the book is more strategic. It helps you to come up with the right projects. It will help you to determine your funding needs. And it also has some tips from our writers and examples of the best answers to the questions in the application form. The book is available on our website and also Amazon and all those major book app stores under Apple and under Android. So you can get it in any format of your choice. And now it is time for us to start our Q&A session. Before we jump into Q&A session, I wanted to mention that on our website we have a free eligibility check form. If you are interested in government funding and if you want to know what government grants or loans or tax credits are available to your business, then I invite you to fill out the eligibility check form. Our team will review it and we'll get back to you within next 48 business hours. All right, so that's it from my end. Thank you very much for your attention. And looks like we haven't lost anyone, which is great. Now let me just stop sharing my screen, and I'll go back to the Zoom and turn my camera on. Here we go. All right, so let me go through the Q&A first. And then in the Q&A, Matthew is asking, is the lack of funding for Canada Job Grant only in Ontario, or are you seeing it across the board? Good question. Yeah, this is only for Ontario. We don't see any issues in other provinces. So thanks, Matthew. That's a good point. Okay. Any other questions? Please type them in, or I can maybe unmute some of you. All right. Somebody's asking about the ETA for the Canada digital adoption program. Soon, as soon as possible. That's the last thing. That's the last thing I've heard. Initially, it was planned. The launch was planned for September, but then election kind of interrupted everything. Now that it's kind of the same old government in power, they gave a green light for this program to launch. But because of that, those few weeks, I think 3 or 4 weeks of election, the program was not, everything about the program wasn't finished on time. So we are hopeful to see it either. Actually, you know what? Today is October 20th, so no. Probably it wouldn't be launched in October, sorry, unless they will waste their Halloween night on launching this program. So no, I would expect in November. I'm optimistic person, and I expect sometime in November. Okay. Another question in the Q&A. Digital adoption. What's the maximum grant for the micro grants of up to 2,400? In a 2,400 is actually maximum. You can request a lower amount of money, but yeah, 2,400 is maximum you can get, but only for remember, micro grants are only for helping helping mainstream businesses develop their or upgrade their websites and e-commerce. So first of all, if you are not in a Main Street category, I don't think you can even apply for this one. We'll see the rules, but I don't think so. And then you probably will need a little bit more. So I'm pretty sure that your business may qualify for the other streams. Question from Masood. Do the financing program cover project-based business and trading? Masood, I do apologize. I don't think I understood the question. If you can maybe try to rephrase it or put some more details, that'd be great. In the meantime, I will answer other questions. Ina is asking again another question for Ina. Yes, so it's Ina is asking if this micro grant is in addition to the mainstream of the Canada Digital Adoption Program. Yes, it is an addition, but also it is designed for again, it is designed for Main Street companies. So technically speaking, Main Street company could apply for all of it because, well, a retail store or a small fitness franchise probably needs some kind of software to run as well. So yeah, I'm very sure it will be in addition to the micro grant. Okay, I am also going to check the other area here. So we will just looked at Q&A. I will look at chat to see if there are any questions in the chat. Oh yeah, there's a same question from Masood. Masood, if you want, I can unmute you and we can talk one-on-one. And in the meantime, this question is from Joe. Joe is asking about the expanding of the manufacturing plant in the GTA, and he's asking about qualification for the regional development funds. Joe, here's the thing. Because you are located in the GTA, you don't qualify for the regional or for the Ontario regional grants because because those grants only cover the areas outside of the GTA, but at the same time you have access to the federal interest-free loans for the expansion that are available for companies anywhere in Canada. So I think, Joe, we need to talk a little bit more about that. I'll reach out to you after the webinar. But yes, if you are located in the GTA, it's a great point. If you're located in the GTA and you're expanding within the GTA, you don't qualify for the grants for expansion, but you will qualify for zero interest loans from the federal government. Okay, next question from Ina. Ina is asking what qualifies as mainstream. So mainstream usually is the is either retail or service businesses that have a brick and mortar location. The examples of mainstream businesses are small retail stores, independently owned restaurants, the non-franchisees, and also independently owned fitness facilities. So pretty much all those small, family or independently owned businesses, flower shops, small retail, small fitness facilities, some educational facilities as well, like probably those you, your kids deal with when they after school. So those are the mainstream. Sorry, Main Street, not mainstream, Main Street type of businesses. Okay, so some clarification from Masood. Let me just read it. Is there any program finance the energy projects and contracts and international trading? International trading, no. Only international marketing. So that kind of export program can pay a portion of your expenses for your international marketing if you advertise you know, somewhere outside Canada where you don't have a business just yet. As for the energy savings, yeah, we couldn't cover all of it, Masood, but you know, there's definitely funding to cover some energy projects. In Ontario, it's mainly with Save on Energy. There's nothing else outside of Save on Energy universe that I'm aware of. However, I'm not, I'm not excluding the opportunity that something will be available in the future. Okay, I hope I answered the question, Sud. And you know, sometimes just for everybody's sake, sometimes we don't have a good answer. Actually, we don't have a positive answer. We wish there was a grant for every single case, but unfortunately, that's not the that's the ideal world, and we're living in the real world. So anyway, we are here to monitor the situation, monitor the ever-changing landscape of the government funding programs for you, and we will be happy to connect with you, or feel free to connect with us as well. Check eligibility form, give us a call. We will be more than happy to answer your individual question, look at eligibility of your company for the government grants and loans, and hopefully we can do some good quality writing for you to get you some money. In the meantime, I see people are jumping off the webinar. So before everybody jumped off, I want to thank you everyone for attending and sacrificing your lunch hour to be with us. We will keep the line open for maybe 3-4 more minutes in case there are any other questions. And if not, then we'll wrap up for today. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel. We will also send out a newsletter with a link in a couple of days. So if you missed some of it or you wanted to share this presentation with your dearest colleagues, partners, or suppliers, you will have a chance. All right, and let me see if there's anything else in the chat box. Mark, thank you for attending as well. Pleasure to have you on those webinars. Thank you, Masood. Thank you, Erin. All right, and I think we can wrap it up. Take care, everyone.